Hello everyone. In the last video, we saw the structure of flower. Now in this video, we will try to complete a topic that how does sexual reproduction occurs in plant. The following steps together help in completing sexual reproduction in plant. They are pollination, fertilization, seed formation and germination. Let us see each of these steps in details. Pollination. It is derived from pollen grains which contain male gametes. So when we were studying about the structure of the flower, I told you that stamen is the main part. It has three parts, that is filament, the next comes anther, the next comes connective. Now when we see anther, it is bilobed structure. It is a bilobed structure and pollen grains are available in that. So those pollen grains are nothing but they are male gametes. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma, it is nothing but it is called as pollination. So when this pollen grains will be transferred from anther, that is the male part, to the female part, that is stigma, this is nothing but that is called as pollination. And this pollination is of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. When it comes to self-pollination, if a pollen grain of same flower is being transferred to the stigma of the same flower, then it is nothing but it is called as self-pollination, and it happens in bisexual flowers because both male and female parts are available in the flower. So in most of the cases this happens in bisexual flowers. The next comes cross-pollination. It happens between the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. So this is nothing but this is called as cross-pollination, and mostly it happens in unisexual flowers as well as even in bisexual flowers, because in unisexual flower we have studied that in unisexual we will have only one reproductive organ, either it is going to be a male or a female. Pollinating agents transfer pollen grains from anther to stigma. Now what are these pollinating agents? So there are a number of pollinating agents. Few of the examples are like wind, water, insects, birds, etc. Pollinating agents are of two types, that is biotic pollinating agents and abiotic agents. Biotic agents. They are living organisms which act as an agent of pollination, and the examples are insects and birds. Abiotic agents. They are non-living objects which act as an agent of pollination, and pollination occurs by chance. The examples are wind and water. Pollination by wind. If pollen grains are carried out by wind from anther to stigma, then it is called as pollination by wind, and it is the most common type of pollination. So in most of the plants, the pollen grains will be carried out by wind itself. That is the reason here we are calling it as most common type of pollination. Now we will see what are the characteristics of a plant pollinated by wind. So what should be the characters of those plants? If the pollen grains are being carried out by wind, what should be the characters? First thing, the pollen grains are light in weight, so that they can be very easily carried out by wind. That is the reason they are light in weight. They are not sticky pollen grains, they are non-sticky. If they are sticking, then when there will be a heavy wind, these pollen grains will go and stick in one or the other place, then there is no chance of pollination at all. So they are non-sticky. Well exposed stamen. So this type of pollen grains will be present in those stamens which are well exposed to the environment. Large and feathery stigma. So these pollen grains will go and they will come in contact with those female part, that is the stigma, which is very exposed to the environment. That is the reason here we are saying that the stigma should be very large in size as well as it should be feathery, so that these pollen grains can easily come in contact with it. Pollination by water. If pollen grains are carried out by water from anther to stigma, then they are nothing but it is called as pollination by water, and it is a less common mode of pollination. It can happen in number of ways. Let us see few ways. Water acts as a medium for transferring gametes in lower plants in aquatic plants. That means the plants which grow in water. In such sort of plants, pollination by water takes place. Female flowers reaches the water surface by a stalk where male gametes were already released. So where male gametes were already released, so in that area a stalk-like structure will be grown deep into the water, and from there they receive male gametes and then pollination takes place. Male gametes are released inside water where flower remains. So where the flower remains, there this plant will release the male gametes. Now in the last slide we saw about pollination. Now we will try to complete fertilization. So in fertilization, the fusion of gametes will take place. Now what is this fusion of gametes? See, as I told you that male reproductive part of a flower will release a male, gamete, that is nothing but that is called as pollen grain, and the female reproductive part will release female gamete, that is called as ovum. They fuse together, that is nothing but that is called as fertilization. So fusion of pollen, that is male gamete, and egg, that is female gamete, is called as fertilization, which takes place inside the ovary. So this fusion takes place inside the ovary. So after fusion, what happens is zygote will form, and it is a single cell structure which is called as zygote. Now we will see the third step, that is seed formation. Zygote divides repeatedly to form embryo. Now just now I told you when we were talking about fertilization that fusion of gametes will take place, that is male sex gametes and female gametes, they fuse together to form a zygote, and this zygote repeatedly divides to form an embryo. You will see the same method even in human beings too. So embryo is nothing but it is the initial stage of any new organism. It is an initial stage. By the way, ovule develops a thick coat and forms a seed, and ovary ripens to form the fruit. So ovule will turn into a seed and ovary will turn into a fruit. If you see a seed, it will have plumule and radicle. Later, plumule turns to shoot and radicle turns to root. So about seed and types of seed we will see in the upcoming slides. Now this seed has the capability of giving rise to new plant. So now the seed is ready. When germination, that means when you germinate the seed, when you place it into the soil, it turns into a seedling where a new plant comes into the external world. Fourth step, germination. Develops to form a seedling from a seed. Now the seed is ready to germinate, as I told you. Now when you place into the soil, a new plant comes to the external world. Seed. So the first doubt what we get is that what is a seed? To define it in a simple term, we can say that seed is a fertilized ovule. It is a fertilized ovule, and if you see the structure of the seed, you will find out that it has seed coat, embryo, radicle, plumule and cotyledons. So about these all things you will study in your higher classes, but we will see one topic which is related to seed, that the seed has been classified into two, that is monocotyledon and dicotyledon. Monocotyledon means if a seed has one cotyledon, then it is called as monocotyledon, and if a seed has two cotyledons, then they are nothing but they are called as dicotyledons. You can see the images of monocotyledon and dicotyledon seed on the slide. Thank you for watching the video. Please do like, subscribe and share the video so that you can get the update of the latest videos. Thank you.